Hello, how are you today? How is your, now we're in July 2nd, and Sam and I are in Florida visiting our grandson, little Crew, who just turned 3. I was going to have him in the video, but he had to take a nap, so I missed the timing. I didn't time my video well. It's actually in the afternoon because I missed the morning. It's about 2 o'clock. And I heard a message this morning that I want to, that really spoke to me, and so I want to go through that with you. I had done it once, and then it didn't take. So let's try it again. We were studying. This pastor was studying in John. I like to listen to this guy on YouTube, and he is an Israeli. I don't know if he's a pastor, but he's an Israeli person that I heard one of the pastors like to listen to, because when you listen to him, he's telling you the truth about all the stuff that's going on in Israel, because nowadays, some of the news and stuff, you can't really believe it. So I listened to this guy a lot and heard this message with him and a pastor today, and I thought, wow, that's really what I need to hear today, is to just continuing believing on the Word of God and believing in Jesus, that he hears my prayers, that he loves me, and that he's working all things out for good. So they were talking about the Gospel of John, and that it's 90% different than the other Gospels, and that there are 51 claims that Jesus makes about himself in the book of John. And for sure they were talking about, why did Jesus wait when he knew Lazarus was dying? And for sure that story happened. I heard this, that he said their expectations were different than God's. Jesus did love them, but he had a greater purpose that they would believe. And so it happened for the greater purpose of God, that they would believe that he was the Son of God, that all things could happen with him. So let's look in John 1:1. It says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. And we knew that, and I love that, the Word was God. And we knew that the Bible is God-breathed. Love that, learned that in discipleship in the last 2 weeks. Let's go to John 11, where the story is about Lazarus. And then we're going to read that, study that a little bit. It says, now a certain man was sick, named Lazarus, of Bethany, the town of Mary and her sister Martha. It was that Mary which anointed the Lord with ointment, and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick. Therefore his sisters sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick. When Jesus heard that, he said, this sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God might be glorified thereby. There it's telling us that this is happening for the glory of God. The story is happening for the glory of God, right? And then in number 5 it says, now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. So he loved them. And when he heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was. So Jesus knew that Lazarus was going to die, didn't he? He did. He stayed 2 more days. He's like, you know what? I came to the earth to do the Father's will, and now I have to do the Father's will. So definitely being obedient to his Father. Let's go on. It says, then after that he saith to his disciples, let us go into Judea again. His disciples said unto him, Master, the Jews of late sought to stone thee, and goest thou thither again? Jesus answered, Are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbleth not, because he seeth the light of this world. But if a man walk in the night, he stumbleth, because there is no light in him. These things said he, and after that he saith unto them, Our friend Lazarus sleepeth, but I go that I may awake him out of his sleep. Then said his disciples, Lord, if he sleep, he shall do well. Howbeit Jesus spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken of taking of rest and sleep, so they didn't understand. Then said Jesus unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead, and I am glad for your sakes that I was not there, to the intent ye may believe. Nevertheless, let us go unto him. So he's asking them to believe, and he's asking of us to believe. Then said Thomas, which is called Didymus, unto his fellow disciples, Let us also go, that we may die with him. Okay, and then we're in 17, so let's keep reading. It says, And when Jesus came, he found that he had lain in the grave 4 days already. Now Bethany was nigh unto Jerusalem, about 15 furlongs off. And many of the Jews came to Martha and Mary to comfort them concerning their brother. Then Martha, as soon as she heard Jesus was coming, went and met him, but Mary sat still in the house. Then said Martha unto Jesus, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. It says, But I know that even now, whatsoever thou wilt ask of God, God will give it thee. And so it takes a specific look at Martha, that she had great faith. It said that right there. It said, Then said Martha unto Jesus, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. And then in 22, But I know that even now, whatsoever thou wilt ask of God, God will give it thee. Jesus saith unto her, Thy brother shall rise again. And then in 24, look what Martha says. She says, Martha said unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. So Martha's thinking something different, that he wasn't going to be alive again until the resurrection. But that's not what Jesus was saying. Jesus said unto her in 25, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Believest thou this? She saith unto him, Yea, Lord, I believe thou art the Christ, the Son of God, which should come into the world. And when she had so said, she went her way and called Mary her sister, secretly saying, The Master is come and calleth for thee. As soon as she heard that, she arose quickly and came unto him. Now Jesus was not yet come into the town, but was in that place where Martha met him. The Jews then which were with her in the house and comforted her when they saw Mary, that she rose up hastily and went out, followed her, saying, She goeth unto the grave to weep there. Then when Mary was come where Jesus was and saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying unto him, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. When Jesus therefore saw her weeping, and the Jews also weeping, which came with her, he groaned in the spirit and was troubled. So he was groaning. He was troubled. It means he was very troubled. He was groaning in grief, right? In 34, it says, And she said, this is Jesus, and said, Where have ye laid him? They said unto him, Lord, come and see. And then in 35, Jesus wept. So Jesus had great sorrow. Jesus at that point saw what death does to those left behind. There's great sorrow. Then said the Jews, Behold, how he loved him. Because they didn't understand, did they? And some of them said, Could not this man which opened the eyes of the blind, which caused even this man should not have died? And then we're in 38, it says, and then, so it's right, so Jesus already said this is going to happen so that the glory of God can be shown, and that people will believe that I am really the Son of God, and I've come to save, and that all things are possible with me. And then in 38, it says, and some of them said, could not this man which opened the eyes of the blind have caused that even this man should not have died? I'm sorry, that was 37. It says, Jesus therefore again groaning in himself cometh to the grave. It was a cave, and a stone lay upon it. Here's Mary. Here's Martha. Or no, here's Jesus says, take ye away the stone. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, saith unto him, Lord, by this time he stinketh, for he hath been dead for days. Jesus saith unto her, said I not unto thee that if thou wouldest believe, thou shouldest see the glory of God? Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid, and Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. And I knew that thou hearest me always. But because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that thou hast sent me. There's that word believe again. So he wants them to have faith. And when he had thus spoken, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. He that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was bound about with a napkin. Jesus saith unto them, Loose him and let him go. And so some of the things that God is looking for from us is our reaction to problems, our reaction to things that are happening. Are we still walking in faith? Are we still believing that all things are possible with God? Are we still trusting him and holding on to Jesus, especially in a world like now where lots of things are crazy, many angry, there's much anti-Semitic behavior against Christians and Jews, and this, I've heard, is only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. I loved where it talked about in John 11:32 that Mary fell at his feet, which means that she loved Jesus. She loved Jesus. And then Martha, he said, with the reactions that Martha had in this chapter, that Martha also had great faith in the Lord. And that's what God is calling us to now, is believing in him, that he is the Son of God, that he loves us, that he sees us, that he hears us. In that last verse that I read, it said, and he that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was bound with a napkin. Jesus saith unto them, Loose him and let him go. And it said to us, and it says, Loose him and let him go. We are bound by sin, and Jesus can set us free. So, sister, that is your encouragement for today. I hope you have a good Wednesday. And I love you.